Everybody, and welcome to their favorite show about shows, The Antenna, with Dane, Spittin' Speeds, Martinez.
What's going on, man?
The usual. I'm Nano Fino. We got a lot, Dane. We got a lot to talk about, but
yeah,
I think people who play the prediction markets. I don't know. This is big news. I don't know if I call it, but like, there's finally chaos, right? Like, this is not going exactly as planned every single week. Like, who's going to get voted out? Someone's 97%, and stays that way. Right. And you learned that the hard way.
I did. Listen, we have been talking about it for the last couple of weeks, right? Like when we saw Mike White zoom to 90 some odd %, he went out. When we saw Charlie and Angelina, when we saw Colby and Camilla and Genevieve, it was all accurate, right? So this time, and we talked about it before kind of midweek, I was like, oh, snap. It looks like Hibiki. He's up to like 90%. But then the morning of, on Thursday morning, it completely switched to D. And so, here's the thing. You have been saying that now that we're in a different phase of the game because we have the jury, that all these guys were on the first plane out. And that seems to hold water for me because like the very first time that we are now in the jury, we did in fact have the switch. It went from Christian being a huge favorite. So if you were on that game, if you were trying to just like ride the wave, let's say, right, and make small profits, you were going to get banged out, just like your boy Dane here, Speeds and Spitting Statistician, because it did flip to D, and then ultimately it was, in fact, D out. And here's the thing I want to ask you, because now this is the first time that the quote-unquote spoilers have not been accurate, right?
Yeah.
You have also seen there is a move. There is a move now in Kalshi on people starting to maybe hop off Aubrey to win the whole thing. I am seeing a lot of people in the comments saying they're selling their Aubreys. They're selling Aubreys. Aubrey is down to, I believe, 78%, which is the lowest she has been. She has been in the 80s, if not the high 80s for most of the season. So I wonder if not only did, it get us this time, but are people now starting to say, wait a second, maybe the ride the wave on the huge favorite, even, as you zoom out on the whole show, is not the way to go anymore.
Yeah, dude. So let me just bring this back for a second. The Christian thing being 97%, I wonder how much of that was like a self-fulfilling prophecy of just kind of like, oh, here we go again. And everyone jumping on board and getting duped, right? Like, I don't like.
That's like I did.
Right. And so like, and sorry, I didn't mean you were duped, but I just mean like, was it like the frenziness of the crowds that was like, let's jump on it before we miss it because it's still like 78, like it's going to get up to 97 and, that's something. But I was telling you, man, like, individually on our text, like it's a learning experience because like now why would you even vote? Like, unless you're live in show, which would make this kind of fun, I think. Why would you even like today when a market goes up, who's off of this episode, who's out? Like, I guess you could speculate maybe Coach, because of his actions this week, but like, why would you even play with that market if you don't know the answer? You know what I mean? Like,
no, I agree. And I think that's good overall. I think it's good for us so that it doesn't seem like spoilers ruining our experience watching it. I guess
like Christian wasn't even close. That was just someone causing chaos. There wasn't even like a hint that he was in trouble.
Absolutely. I guess that means do we go back to the overall market because there are still outside of Aubrey, Suri, and Rizzo, everyone else is still at 1%. So if now we have kind of buoyed optimism that these early spoilers were just a pump and dump and we're wrong, like there is opportunity. I remember last week you got on Suri, I got on Rizzo, but I mean, maybe there's others. Maybe, Ozzy keeps winning immunities. We'll talk about our most valuable, least valuable player, but I wonder if there's renewed optimism that maybe you want to play with some of these, sprinkle the board with some of these 1%ers.
I mean, well, I'm going to just toot the Ozzy horn over and over again for as long as I live. He won again last night.
Yeah.
But one last thought on this Hibiki market. Let me just, I guess Hibiki, Polymarket had the same thing. Like I checked, like it wasn't just like everyone running to Kalshi. They ran to both and did the same exact thing and it flipped at the same exact time. But right now, as we're doing this show Thursday morning, Aubrey 78%, Suri 14%, Rizzo 4%, Joe Hunter 3%.
Yeah.
Let me if the trio is Suri, Rizzo, Ozzy's still sitting at 1 cent. That I don't fully understand. And then Aubrey Tiff, like Tiff hasn't. I mean, Tiff is losing all of her allies.
Yeah.
But she hasn't moved either, man. And I'm still kind of like, I think we're on each other's trains. Like, if you're not going to go Suri, which I think you still should at 14 cents, and rising, you gotta why not look at Ozzy and Tiff?
Yeah, I mean, I like Tiff. We've been talking about Tiff. Tiff was on our original card. We had Tiff originally at 1%. I know you like Suri. I like Rizzo. So I'm going to throw out someone else who I think was kind of my MVP of this episode. And it's Stephanie. Yeah. Like, she got a great edit. First of all, props always to the Survivor crew. Like, she just picked her shot in the dark. That's why she went on the journey. But it happened to coincide with the journey challenge that happened to be a callback to her banged up shoulder from Heroes vs. Villains. That she could tell that story. And I think what's interesting, I think in our first episode, I was telling you, like, these guys are much older. And I was talking about it from kind of the coach Ozzy side. But Stephanie was like, a buff jock female her first time. And they kind of told that story as well, right? How she was in her late 20s. Now she's in her mid 40s. But I think really props to Stephanie. So she was my MVP of this episode. I think she got a good edit. And if we're talking about the crews that we like, Stephanie is down with Ozzy. Yep. Down with Suri, because when she came back, she told the story. Suri was like, I knew you were lying, whatever. They're clearly cool. So if we are both kind of on the Suri, Rizzo, Ozzy crew alliance, I think Stephanie is a part of that. And she is never going to be someone who kind of pokes their head up as the obvious choice. Like, Coach is going to get voted out soon, And then when they come for him, Ozzy has a bigger target. Suri is a bigger target. At this stage of the game, I think you kind of got to lay low. I like your Chrissy call. She's laying low. Yeah, I think Stephanie is another person that can kind of lay low and go far and is positioned to be part of the right crew that we're riding with. So I really like what Stephanie did this week.
So I think, like, on our LVP vote, I think we can't do Coach, right? Like, it's almost like,
I mean, that's
already
fine.
I mean, yeah, right, because he's already in like the Hall of Fame for so annoying. Like, it's right. Like, what are we gonna say? He was annoying.
We just have to do it in the form of a haiku.
Yeah, dude. Oh man, like Dane, you know how like I like to fast forward through parts that seem like they're gonna be boring to me,
right?
Like I was just like, hit the 10-second forward, hit the 10-second forward. I have no interest in that.
But it's interesting to see. So you're a big fan of how they edit it, right?
Yeah.
So to me, yes, you're right. Obvious all-time LVP, right? But to me, what's interesting is who they feature as being annoyed by it, right? Because everyone's annoyed by it, but you see like Emily talking about it a lot, right?
Yeah.
You see, so that's the interesting part, like who is starting to use that to curry favor and build alliances. And I think Emily was big around that. A lot of the women were, to be honest.
Jonathan's my I haven't seen someone turn. It's almost like they're giving him a villain edit in a way, man. Like he's just like setting off D like that, I guess was smart, but I don't know. Right. Like I think he just kind of retroed that decision after it started. Who said it was so right? Like, don't get rid of D. Like, she's a shield. Like, why would you get rid of D right now?
Because she was the winner. That was Suri.
Yeah. Oh, all right. There you go. Suri. I mean, Suri's my all-time. She's my MVP now. But I loved. Chrissy had a very down low MVP. I think Emily, despite screwing up that whole D thing once again, has been like she's like the Greek chorus that's just like saying everything I'm thinking every time she's in a confessional or like so. I don't know if she's gonna win, but I think she won that episode in a way.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like I think what's clear here, Nando, is we're as the lines are drawn, kind of thing. Yeah. We're all talking about liking the same side, and that is the Suri, Ozzy, Stephanie, Emily, Rizzo side. And we were just talking about the obvious LVP of Coach, right? Jonathan is part of that quote unquote 4 horsemen, right?
Right.
It was the warrior samurai, but with Colby gone, they try to pull Rizzo in, but he sees right through it. And it's Coach and Jonathan and Joe on a certain level, but Joe is laying a lot lower, at least as per the edits, than Coach and Jonathan. But it's interesting to see that Jonathan and Coach, 2 guys we think had a bad cut up of the edit of the show as LVPs. They're both trying to be in that 4 horsemen, warrior, samurai kind of spirit.
Hey, I want to get quick into the story that you sent me too. I think that's big news. Is this
Yep.
Zoom alliance that is getting talked about a little bit right now?
Yeah. So Camilla apparently was out there on social media talking about how there was this alliance, and it's what we thought, and it's whether it's the Zoom alliance, whether it's it was thought of to be kind of like a MAGA alliance at one point, and she didn't fully believe it until she got blindsided. And that's part of why when she got voted out, she was like, oh, drag him through the mud, talking about Jonathan. So, what's interesting is they're out there now on social media talking about this stuff as well. I even saw a quote about, I saw Rizzo on social media talking about the Charlie vote. So they are out there. But yes, to our point that these people know each other. These people have relationships before they got out here onto the island, and there could have been an unspoken secret alliance. And Camilla was trying to blow it up.
Yeah, and this is what makes it all so insufferable, Dane. Like, maybe I should, I think I'm gonna go back and watch some of these seasons. Like, I want to see how D won. I think I kind of want to see the rise of Rizzo in a way, and like what he did to his partner. Because, like, again, man, like I feel like well, when you hear people who collect cards, they're like, oh, I came back to card collecting after taking 10 years off. Like, I've come back to Survivor after
Right.
that super annoying season with that woman who was humming her theme song all the time. She was a pastor, whatever one that was. I'm just like, I'm done. I don't even want to see this to the end because I don't care about anybody left on here. Like I felt like
They
what?
brought you back in. They brought you back in.
This did, man, because like I thought this is interesting, right? Like I didn't care how big it was. Really don't care about the fan stuff. And actually, if you're on Reddit, like the fan stuff is backfiring pretty hard, I think.
Huh.
I don't know. Yeah, you check out like go to it's just a Survivor subreddit, but like I think people are just kind of like seeing right through it. Like you're not really asking the fans for things. I really hate how everyone has a shot in the dark and blah blah blah. Anyway, the point is I like seeing everybody returning and mingling. Like it's not like half and half. You know what I mean? It's like one of those full on. We didn't like separate you through like stupid characteristics. It's just like here's a bunch of you who used to play, like going back all the way. Here's a bunch of you who used to play. Now go do it. So I might go back and watch some of these newer ones just to see because it seems interesting, but like they don't have a chance to do a Zoom alliance. That's what kind of makes it pure in a way. This is annoying.
Right. If it's just an authentically new season, these folks don't know each other, and it's more just pure gameplay because they don't have that kind of Survivor fame, so they don't have that built up following. It's just really more about the gameplay and the art of war of it all, which is what you and I both like. So let's look at our card, right? Tiffany we had at 1%, Emily we had at 1%, Charlie we had at 1%. He's gone. We're down to 13, and then I guess now we had no Aubrey at 12. That's what I was going to ask. The no Aubrey, you mentioned that she's now at 78. So no Aubrey is at 22. So we have gone up from 12 to 22 on the Aubrey. Like this is all an opportunity just because the Christian D flip happened, doubting the spoilers. Do we get off our no Aubrey with 10% of kind of position up? Like, I'll tell you this, it's a modest profit. They're giving you some profit right now if you want to cash out on it. Or do we start to think like, nah, we've got it with Suri, we've got it with Rizzo, we sprinkle another one and we keep the no Aubrey out there as kind of our backstop?
I think, man, like I'd like to see no Aubrey go all the way. You know what I mean? Like, what's the point of making a little bit? I mean, technically, we put $5 down on each of these. Right. So, like, what's the point if she went from 12 cents to 22 cents? Like, the payoff's going to be 12 cents to 100. Like that's
sure.
That's how I'm because, like, you don't know. Like, the whole reason we got no is because you don't know. Like, I'd almost say like pump another 5 in if Aubrey goes down to like 55%.
Right.
Maybe then we buy in the yes. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I think if she goes down that much and we already have the no, then it is time to sprinkle the field, right? Because I think if we think that this is happening and we're right on the no Aubrey, there is value at picking some 1%ers still. Because listen, you're already on Suri, I'm already on Rizzo. Whether it is a Chrissy who is still at 1%, you haven't formally taken her, you just took Suri. There's still Chrissy at 1%. I'm talking about Stephanie, who is still at 1%. There's Tiff is still at 1%.
What's wrong with Ozzy? Like, how come and I don't mean with you. I mean like with the general population. I don't know if he's a target. He seems just like a broken down, almost stud. He's like the natural. He's almost like a perfect parallel to the natural. Like it's like, what's the problem? Why isn't he 3%? And why does so? And like I get Rizzo, like Joe Hunter pops up a little bit. You know what I mean? Like what? Yeah. How come the public hasn't taken to Ozzy yet? Basically,
I think the reason for me is, and this was maybe it was a bad thing that he won that first individual immunity challenge, right? Because it kind of reminds everybody that he could go on a run. And they even made that edit, right? Like he was walking on the beach being like, they awoken the sleeping giant. They don't know what they're ready for, kind of thing. And I think that's the fear. Like if he does win some individual immunity challenges, and Probes made the point to say it was his 8th all time. Boston Rob has 9. So they already put it out there, like him chasing some individual record. That sounds to me like he's going to win another 1 or 2 immunity challenges. And then if that's the case, people are going to be like, we got to get Ozzy out of here because he can go on a run. And so I think ultimately he may go far, but they're not going to let him stick around all the way because there's a potential of him to go on a hot streak in these immunity challenges, and they'll all be SOL.
Yeah. All right. Well, you know what? I'm not going to complain that like the rest of the world isn't on him with me.
But buy it at 1%. Buy it at 1%.
I have 194 Aussies at 1%.
Yeah, I would take Stephanie. Stephanie is the person that's warming to me because she is, of these women, I think she is, you just use the natural for Ozzy. I think Stephanie is the most physical woman still left.
They're not going to let her win. Her husband made millions in baseball. They're going to pull that out. She doesn't need the money.
So?
At the end, that criteria, like, she's a former winner, doesn't hold, okay, she has $1 million. But like she married, a 10-year veteran of baseball.
But I guess on some level, all of them, right? Like that's my argument for Ozzy. That's my argument for Sari. I mean, that's why I'm on this Rizzo thing. And it seems like, Rizzo had to pull Coach aside and was like, listen, man, you're talking too much. You're doing this wrong. I think, Rizzo and Rizzo's down with Sari and they're sharing all this information. I'm intrigued by it. And he's the wild card. I think Rizzo is interesting. Another guy, and I know you're not going to like this, but someone who has laid low recently is Devins.
No, you know what? I was, he's like finished 7th in my MVP voting kind of guy with 1 vote.
Right.
Like I liked drunk Devins talking sense into people. I liked it. He was all of us, I think, during the whole coach thing.
Stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it's right. Like Coach talked about all these middle players, and and Rizzo's like, hey man, like Devins is a middle player, dude. Like, what are you doing?
Tristan's a middle player, right?
Yeah. And so like I don't know, like just Devins just seemed like another voice. It was like Devins and Emily were the voices of reason in this entire thing, and D to a degree. Like
and
D
Rizzo.
made a lot of sense.
And Rizzo.
Well, Rizzo, yeah, but Rizzo, I mean, like was a very obvious voice of reason.
Right.
I just mean like speaking to the camera, representing us, the viewer.
Yeah,
it was them.
I hear you, but and then you still have your girl Chrissy, who is not. I still don't think is going to win, but you are right that especially with like the merge happening at 14 and now down to 13, this is where I think they're going to target some of the big people. D is a big name, former winner. Coach, we think is on the hot seat. Chrissy has an opportunity to lay low and get to another stage of the game where going from 1% to 5% could mean something.
She seems to say the same, say the right things and do the right things at the right time now. More so before, like she wasn't even on the show. And these last 2 weeks, it's been kind of like, oh, all right. Like she's almost like planting something here or like turning something herself here. That's kind of quietly going unnoticed, but not by me.
And I guess the last thing I'll ask is, what did you think about going back to Aubrey, this, monstrous favorite, how she quote unquote forgot to play her idol, but now that means it's out there, right? Because it's been played. Usually when an idol is played, that means they put one back out there to be found again. And with this season, maybe that's another celebrity idol or some other kind of weird tweak. And they did also tease in the coming attractions, like another one of the fan twists kind of thing. So I think that Aubrey playing the idol means that there's going to be another one back in play to be found in some odd, curveball way.
Yeah, right. Because it doesn't boomerang back if it's played. It boomerangs back if it's not played.
Right.
So I don't know. But I mean, I read something today, actually. So first of all, I thought it was like she was rightly called out on it and had no choice but to do it. Because she was right. 2 other people have idols that everybody knows about that aren't being forced to play them at the moment. You know, like,
right.
Dane, maybe this is my fast forwarding biting me in the butt, but I don't remember like the lead up to her like saying like, well, I'm going to play my idol, obviously. Like, and then everyone just feeling the need to call her out on it. Like she was
because everyone called her out on it. Everyone realized that when she was saying that she forgot, you know, she was.
No, I mean, the previous episode in 6, like, I don't remember what brought up the whole thing to make her feel like she had to play it. Like, I know she was telling people. I remember
because when they originally merged, everybody was talking about that's what Genevieve was telling everybody. Right. That, you know, all the idols were known. Everyone was talking to everyone about who had the idols. So Aubrey, it was known that Aubrey had the idol. So she was going to play it. But then she was like at the last minute, oh, maybe I'll just keep it. But realized that, you know, that's in this new wave of Survivor. It's almost the way she said it, I think was perfect. She said it's less of an advantage and more of a scarlet letter. And yeah, she's right.
Yes, she's right. It's just it just seemed like such a weird non-issue that got blown up into something bigger than it had to be. Like Aubrey felt. I mean, of course, I wonder if she didn't make that excuse, like she forgot. If she's just like her shot in the dark didn't work, so I held on to it. Like, what do you want from me?
Right.
And actually, that's what I wrote to you in our text messages. I wish she would have given it to D.
Yeah, but she wouldn't do that because she knew Tiff was going to get the second amount of votes, and she's close with Tiff, and that would have ultimately led Tiff to go home, and she wouldn't have wanted that.
Yeah, and I guess you can't really rally
that
people.
7-4 split. Everyone knew that 7-4 split.
Maybe it would have been cool if she gave it to Tiff then.
Sure. But then you're just like outing how close you are to Tiff, and that doesn't really benefit you either moving forward.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess. But I mean, it does heighten the suspense of the shot in the dark, I guess. You're going to use it. Give it to someone, man. Give it to Rizzo. Someone who doesn't need it. You know what I mean? Like, just be like, here.
Yeah, I mean, why do that, though? Play it for yourself. Play it for yourself. The stupidest thing on earth is to play an idol for someone else. Play it for yourself.
Yeah. Let me ask you this.
Yes,
the Reddit post. I just like your level of agreement on this one. Speaking of Genevieve. And, you know, we don't like to look too far back, but it's almost impossible to look forward here outside of who's going to win. Genevieve, this is from 8 days ago, so after last week's episode, but it caught my attention. Genevieve was so robbed and screwed over by this twist. She found 2 idols, had to give them both away, and it's clear that Christian, Devins, and Aubrey were going to be working together. What do you agree? Like, I mean, like, you don't think about it. Like, Genevieve did find some idols, and they got screwed by this dumb fan vote. And that's part of the whole fan vote thing that everyone's complaining about in the subreddit.
I think that's fair. I don't think she was going to go far anyway, because I think she was known as a strategic player. B, she was going so unabashedly heads up against Aubrey that, you know, she was going to fall eventually. But yes, she did find 2 idols, and in other seasons that would have been some form of advantage that she could have leveraged in an easier way. But I would not go so far as to say she got screwed.
Her deeper on the post, if you click on the post and actually read it, like, one of the points they make is her number 1 was medevac.
True.
And then the tribe swaps got her.
Yeah.
During the merge, the quote unquote merge, you know.
Right. But in order to win, you got to have some luck. You got to have some luck happen. And so she didn't get luck. What are you going to do?
She got the opposite, man. I feel bad. You know, like, I like her.
Well, you could like her, but she lost.
All right. Fair enough. Dane, thoughts on like this Suri crying thing? Do you think that's good or bad for her long-term market here? In the preview of the next episode?
Yeah, I think it's irrelevant. Because Suri's character is so fully baked in already that one piece of drama is not going to do it here nor there. I am intrigued, though, that it seems like Suri is the one that's gobbling up all the equity out of it. You know, she's the only one going up, whether it's, you know, out of Aubrey or out of others. You know, it's not like we saw Rizzo at 4%. It's not like we see 2 other people at 4%. Suri is gobbling up all of the equity that Aubrey is kind of bleeding. So I don't think crying in the coming attractions really means one thing or another. I think it's probably maybe in like response to the twist or something like that.
Yeah. It's strange, right? Like this whole thing, it's such a mix of like spoilers somewhere, and I don't know. I'm just kind of hoping that this Christian spoiler, non-spoiler that turned out to just be like a complete ruse that tricked. I don't even check how much who's going to get voted off.
I don't think they have it up yet.
No, I mean like the total amount of money that was thrown on that one. Hold on, Survivor season 7.
Oh,
that's a $381,000 market. So that's a lot of money, and a lot of it was wrong until it switched up at noon.
The morning of, yeah,
noon on Wednesday, basically. Christian started crashing at 8 a.m. He started crashing harder at 10 a.m. And by noon, they had flipped. And that was it. So someone saw an episode somewhere, essentially.
Basically, yeah. Some cameraman, some production manager.
Yeah. Christian was at 92% on April 5th. He was at 93.7% at 5 p.m. on April 6th. He was at 96.7%. Maybe this is when you jumped in, April 7th at 4 a.m. And then just kind of held that 90 line, 90 this, 90 that, 91, 92, and then crash. And so, like, maybe that holds some weight for whoever's spoiling, quote unquote, spoiling the Aubrey thing.
That's what I'm saying. I wonder if there's this ripple effect about, kind of now people hopping off the Aubrey.
Yeah, but they're not hopping on. They're just hopping on to the same 3 people, like you said. Like, what is it going to take for someone? Look, and again, like, there might be significant money. It's a $14 million market. So to get someone up, you've got to.
At this point, it's going to
really
take
do some work.
Really. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess if you're selling your Aubrey, and people are, you've got to sell her. Maybe just sell. You don't buy it. Someone's buying it, but so you spread that money around a little bit to someone else, man.
That's why I was saying the time is now.
Right, but it's not happening.
The ones. That's why. Whether it's Chrissy, whether it's Stephanie, we're already in on Suri and Rizzo. But right, that's why I'm intrigued that it seems like it's Suri that's gobbling up all the equity.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, there's something weird about this. It's not behaving normally. But what do you do about it, Dane? Like we talk about this every week, how we're taking advantage of it.
It's true.
And our new taking advantage of it was getting Suri at 10 cents, and now she's at 14.
So do I hop in when that market of who's going to get eliminated? Was that a one-time ruse? Like when it opens and someone's at 76%, let's say it opens and, whatever, Devon's is 76%.
Yeah.
Do we believe it next week?
No, I would not touch it. All like that market to me is only good for this show and talking about it afterwards and what that line did. Because if it follows precedent, like there should just be like, 3 lead dogs at 35% or 33, I guess. I don't know if it will. This has been very weird,
Yeah. I mean, I just hate that I never backed it, never wrote it. And the one time I do is the time that I wound up being wrong. I want to get it right, either by fading it or riding it. I want to get it right one time next week.
Yeah, but it's crazy that it was that high. You know what I mean? If he was sitting at 60%, you would have been like, no, I want nothing to do with it. But I do we had thought after the merge, that's when the spoilers end, because that plane, like you said.
Right.
So the next week was someone still at 97%. You're like, man, let me get on. I think I forget you got him at a good enough price where there was still some.
I got on it in the low 80s.
Yeah. Which means if you bought enough of it and you put your $25 and, if you're making 14 cents, that's great. But we learned that nobody knows anything now, and it's total chaos. And then maybe next week we learn that someone knows something, but maybe it's just like a relative of Jonathan. You know what I mean? Like maybe he's a couple wrestlers.
So at least it makes our no Aubrey feel a little bit better.
We were smart on that one. Yeah, and I think that's going to keep chipping away week by week. And I think Suri is going to keep going up because there just seems to be like a frenzy of the masses thing going on here in the market.
And then I'm on Rizzo, who is the third choice right now.
Yeah.
So we've kind of got it covered. There's a way we could really bang this. If it is Suri or Rizzo, then we also hit the no Aubrey, right? If we hit the no Aubrey, we hit right with Suri, Rizzo, or quite frankly, Tiff or Emily that we have at 1%. You know,
There's so many ways this can still go.
it's true. It's true.
And, because there are like those alliances that are forming, but there's still like these side alliances that they aren't spending a lot of time with. You know what I mean? Like
for alliances to crack and move and all that stuff too. We're at 13 for goodness sakes.
Yeah, I think so. I'm cool here. So here's where I'm at, Dane. As we conclude this episode of the Antenna, I'm still good on no Aubrey for 22 cents. And all these numbers are Kalshi. I just like Kalshi is just like where I feel it's easier to read for me.
Yeah.
Like all my fantasy leagues are on CBS. Suri, yes, at 14 cents, I think still is like a gigantic low buy. Like that could, Suri could be yes 65 cents by 2 weeks from now. Right.
She's not going to overtake Aubrey, but okay.
I don't know. She might. Aubrey can get voted out next week. She no longer has an idol.
If Aubrey gets voted out next week, this market is completely back to square one.
It's going to be amazing. It'll make the show better.
That's why we got to get on some 1%ers now. But anyway, go ahead with your recap.
That's so me. I would, if you said, here's $20, do something smart for me. I would maybe put 10 on Suri. Yes. I would put another 10 on Ozzy. Yes. Maybe I'd do 5 on Ozzy. Yes. And 5 on Emily. Yes.
Well, we already have Emily. So I would look to sprinkle on some others. I would look to cover the board more. Because our premise is if it's no Aubrey, you have opportunities with these 1%ers. And we talked about, to me, Stephanie, Chrissy, those are names that we haven't formally put on our card yet. Because we already have some Suri. We already have some Tiff. We already have some Emily. I want to cover some more 1%ers. And for me, I know you're on Chrissy. And I really like the way Stephanie's been portrayed. And I know she's close with what I think is the ascending group alliance.
Yeah. But that can flip, with whatever the fans decide they're going to do.
Of course.
I'm sure there are more double eliminations coming up. Like they're going to, play all that. Maybe there's a 3 week
to find out.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
And by the way, people got to go on over to the7oracles.com. Not only is it our podcast, videos, the newsletter, subscribe to the newsletter for free. You can get access to all sorts of great tools to really get some profit on these prediction markets. And if you use the promo code the7, like the number 7 oracles, we are hooking you up. Not 1 month, not 2 months, 6 months free. Click around and find out. That'll get you all the way through the damn midterms, for goodness sakes. You could really get some profit here in these prediction markets because we at the7oracles.com are helping you see into the future.
Thank you all for joining us. We hope this was helpful somewhat. And it's not, it's chaos, I think. We're on the precipice of chaos right now. The aliens are coming. Anyway.
You can bet on that too.
You can. I don't think you should, but you can. Yeah. All right. For Dane Martinez, a.k.a. Spit Speeds, I'm Nando DeFino, a.k.a. Nostradamus. Thank you for listening to The Antenna. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you later.
The tribe has spoken.